And we'll check our policy, but as far
Thank
as
you.
I'm aware, there's no necessity for me to tell you I'm recording.
Look what we have here, guys. We've got the Ryan Rampage. So guys, this was on the 16th of November, and I was just in Sheffield just to show support to Live Free and Marty Blackburn at their court case. I went to the toilet at the train station and I noticed a couple of people in yellow vests and being filmed by two males. So I went closer and I recognised Ryan from the YouTube scene, and they were filming the gentleman on the right. You see how he's wearing a vest, a yellow vest that looks like a police officer. So they were actually accusing him of impersonating a police officer, and that's where I joined. So you need to know that backstory for the rest to make sense. Enjoy.
Did you watch last series of Line of Duty?
Oh, I know.
The Scouts lad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you look like Stephen Graham.
That's just a
All right.
I'm a Scouts lad, isn't it? Especially as you're a United fan.
Thanks for coming, lads.
We'll see you later, guys.
Is an officer coming?
Changed. Who's on the way?
I'll wait around for you, yeah?
What's he said? What's he said, Ryan?
He said an officer's on the way.
Oh, really? Wow.
DJ Audits.
Alright, mate.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, sound higher.
Go at Manchester Media.
Yeah, I've seen you both been doing the Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a BTP here.
Alright, boys.
Have you had an interaction with two security guys?
Have I just had an interaction with two security guards?
Yes.
I have, yes. Yeah. He's impersonating a police officer.
Well, has he produced anything to him to say that he's a police officer?
Doesn't need to. Apparently, according to many of police, you don't need to do that.
Okay, but has he? You're saying he's impersonating a police officer?
Yeah, I'm stating that, yeah.
Okay. Has
I
he
believe
actually?
he is.
Okay. So has he produced anything to you that makes you think he said he's a police officer? He's produced a warrant.
Doesn't
card
matter
or-
if he said it.
Doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to.
Doesn't need to.
Section
to
90,
impersonate a police
subsection
officer.
2 of the Police Act.
Section 90 of the Police Act 1996, subsection 2. Any person who, not being a constable, wears any article of police uniform in circumstances where it gives him an appearance so nearly resembling that of a member of a police force as to be calculated to deceive, shall be guilty of an offence and liable, on summary conviction, to a fine not exceeding level 3 of the standard scale.
Carrying items.
I've spoken to the gentleman, he's clearly from the council, but I kind of concur with your thought pattern with the nature of his dress, because his colleague's got Sheffield City Council and he hasn't.
Yeah.
That maybe that would be perceived to be...
He is
at
wearing a
some point.
police vest. That's what I am stating.
It can be issued to security, it can be issued to police, they can be purchased.
What about
He's got
members of the
police
public
stripes on it.
wearing it?
They're not police stripes, they're reflective stripes.
Security stripes.
Yeah.
They switch the colours round. I've noticed
The issue is that these silver and blue checkers, they're not a protected.
Yeah.
They're
They're not just for police, they can be used with security.
High vis.
It's a high visibility item.
If
If
it
you've got
said
the word police on the back,
A lot,
I get
a
what
lot
you're
of
saying.
security, right, have the same stripes, but they have it the different way around.
I understand that.
So they have the checkers the other way around.
The reason we had this interaction with them is
Have you
because-
spoken to Sheffield City Council?
No, it's because two males in Manchester were arrested for impersonating police officers under Section 90 Police Act subsection 2.
Okay.
And all they were wearing, they had video protection team on them, which clearly not identified as police, but they had police
Unfortunately,
items on them.
I mean, not just Sheffield, but on the railways we've got revenue
Well,
protection officers, travel safety officers, and they all wear very similar items. Whether we do or don't agree with that, that's not for me to take up, but they're not pertaining to be police officers today. They've not come to you and said, I'm a police officer, move on. They've not tried to arrest you, they've not tried to charge you with any offences, they've not tried to report
So
you
you're
for
saying
summons.
now,
I'm happy because I've
evidence-
spoken to him. I'm happy because I've spoken to him at our office. He's not a police officer, he's not trying to put himself out as a police officer.
Neither was the
dressed
people that got arrested.
but I'm not arresting him. I can categorically tell you now. I've seen his ID, you know who he is.
Okay, so it's one rule for one and one rule for
No,
the
not
other.
really. I'm telling you, I'm not arresting
Well,
him. If you've got a complaint about how he dresses, he's a Sheffield City Council employee. Do take it up with them. They've got a complaints procedure. He's not at any point, unless you've got evidence to show to me that he's tried to make out he's a police officer. Has he tried any of that?
No.
No. Right. Okay. So purely
Are
the
you
dress.
categorically saying now? Are you categorically saying now on camera? Bearing in mind, I will be using this for evidence in another case later on down the line. Are you categorically saying?
I'm not
now
arresting him today
he
because
is
he's
not.
not.
He is not impersonating
He
police
is not
officers. Is that what you're
impersonating
saying?
police officer, not in any way. He's got his council ID card, his choice of dress. Yes, I concur that ideally he would be dressed as his colleague was with a Sheffield City Council high-vis jacket on, and we'd have no issues, would we?
So you don't feel that that's inappropriate? To be
I
wearing that
personally
dress?
don't feel it's inappropriate. I think he could have chosen better for himself, so that he wouldn't then be faced with you guys questioning.
So
him.
if you see a member of the public wearing the same uniform,
Depends on how they're portraying themselves. I've arrested
if they
people.
have video
I've
protection,
had people
right,
that have.
Can I just talk before you?
Yeah, you
interrupt
can,
me,
yeah.
please? Thank you. If he's got a video protection team on it and he's walking down the street with a radio, with a torch, with a camera, would you say he's impersonating a police officer under Section 90 police?
No, I wouldn't. No,
subsection
because
2?
there's certain elements of that. It's down to interpretation. There's also certain elements of it where, the actions, the intent of the person, and what they intend you to believe. That's quite pertinent to it as well. So on this instance, whilst I do concur with you guys that in an ideal world he should have just maintained the uniform provided to him by his employers. However, it hasn't gone to any lengths to make out that he's from any police service at any point. He has got his Sheffield City ID card with him. For me, that's enough. But I do agree, if you've got a complaint about the nature of his dress, take it to the Sheffield City Council. I'm sure they'll listen to your
Okay, can I have your
complaints.
name and badge number? Then,
Yeah, it's 9405 and the surname's Price.
And is that a professional opinion that we can use in court?
It's what my
Your opinion of that dress?
That will be down to the
body
courts to
camera.
make.
You've just offered us your professional opinion, so surely we're.
That'll be down to the. If it was to go to court, that would be for the courts to decide on.
Policies and procedures state you should tell us when you fall right.
Are you also recording, sir?
First chance you get to tell a member of the public that you've got your body worn camera footage rolling, that's when you're meant to tell them.
What's that from?
What do you mean that's for?
It's in your code of ethics.
Guidance, where's that from?
It's a body-worn video code of ethics document.
It's necessary, but
I've got it
we're all
on
in
there.
a public place and we're all being recorded.
Do you want to see it?
I know, but that's your job. I've got to point out your job, so otherwise I wouldn't be doing my job, would I?
Yeah, okay. Is there anything else we can help you with
Is any
today?
of you wearing the
No.
gang sign?
Pardon?
Any of you wearing the gang sign? Thin blue line.
No.
Yourself?
Okay.
Take note how the officer on the left said no to that question. He does not have the thin blue line badge. We'll see what happens.
You are dismissed, officers. Yep. Thank you
We're
very much.
dismissed. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've no need to move from here.
we do
You're
work
welcome
here.
to leave if you want.
What?
You're welcome to leave if you want.
Wow.
Wait, what?
I'm not
Why is this all
That's a
happening?
standoff nowadays.
I no
gonna move
longer need
first?
your assistance.
Yeah, and I'm
So
standing
you
here.
are dismissed, officer.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I don't need to leave. I'm standing here.
I'm not telling you need to leave, but you are
That's it,
dismissed
okay.
from talking
Where,
to me.
what
Thank you
unit are
very
you
much.
from? What's your group? What they called?
Unit?
Yeah,
not-
what are
we're
you
not in the
called?
army.
What do you call yourselves? Auditors?
Dismissed you, officer. I no longer require your assistance. I no
Have you
longer
watched
require you
us?
to talk to
Quite
me.
rude though, isn't it? Really?
Can't say I watch you personally.
No.
Who have you watched?
It's a formal way of talking.
Are you local guys? Are you from
It's a
Sheffield?
formal way
Can
of
you tell
talking.
with our accents? Come on.
No, I'm thinking Manchester possibly. Ish.
Well, I'm not
Stockport.
going to tell you, but who have you watched then, officer? I mean, to be fair, it does.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
What we recommended on Facebook
So-
sometimes.
Recommended
I
on
can't remember-
Facebook?
I can't remember any particular names.
Right.
Are you going to warn the members of the public before you start recording next time? Have we got that at least?
If I have to, then I will.
If we think- if
Do
we
you
think
not
it
believe that you have
we
to
don't
then?
need- No, not.
No.
It's not a guidance we've been given.
That's not in our guidance.
Oh,
So
so
you-
you haven't been trained properly then?
You believe that you can turn your camera on without informing them. Your data handlers. By turning it on, you're handling the data.
In most circumstances, I can. If you ask me about my camera and you want to ask where does that footage go, yeah, I'm duty bound to explain to you
No,
what's happening.
no. You're a data handler as soon as you turn that camera on, and then
Yeah.
GDPR regulations
Everything I
apply.
Under MOPA, yes, I'm a data handler.
So you have to tell us that you're capturing our image, because you're capturing our data on your body-worn video. Do you want me to show you the document?
No, not really. I don't. The
So you've
training
got-
for the British
my
Transport
friend,
Police, and we're not
If
being advised
we're
that we
going out of
need-
our way to give you some guidance, some education, we don't have to do this. And this gentleman
If you
could.
feel like you want to show it to me, then crack on. Yeah, let's have a look then.
Okay. So we showed him the Home Office guidance for police use of body-worn video devices. We went down to page 9. There's a lot of pages on this. It was difficult to find the exact page on the spot, but page 9 where it's got legal requirements. The use of body-worn video described in this guidance is overt use. Body-worn video cameras might be small, but they are not to be worn or used in a hidden or covert manner. BCU managers should ensure that the use of the cameras is widely advertised prior to commencement, and that their use is reiterated by officers wearing a sign, symbol, or making a verbal announcement where possible to those who may be recorded. Okay, so they must be advertised to the public prior to commencement, and it must be a verbal announcement where possible. You know, if there's a massive riot, then they can't tell everybody that they're being recorded, but on this instance, they clearly could, right? And when announcing that you're filming, the data subject, so the member of the public, must be informed of the identity of the controller. So my name is PC blah blah blah. The purpose for which the footage is intended to be processed. I'm filming because of this reason, and any further information that is necessary for the processing to be fair. So they didn't identify themselves. They didn't tell us prior to commencement that they was recording, which meant they didn't make a verbal announcement. So the Home Office guidance for police use of body-worn video devices wasn't adhered to.
And does it pertain to the BTP, or is this a Manchester Police? Is it GMP? What force
All
is
police,
it?
all police forces. Okay then, would you like to comment
So this
on
is
police
the
corruption?
This is the Home Office document,
Yeah.
the
You
guidance
acknowledge
for
that
police
this is
body-worn video. And I'll just go down to the
You're not
part where it
commenting
says,
on So,
one second, should where possible, practical, announce
That's
to the
fine,
subjects of an encounter that video and
And
audio.
that's not an enforceable. That is.
No,
We're practical, and if needed, you know, if you're recording me and I'm recording, I haven't recorded you. I didn't feel the need to. We're having a normal human being interaction. You're talking to me about what you found wrong about the guy's dress. You've explained a little bit about what you're doing.
Recording should not be made of general patrolling duties
No,
unless
exactly.
this is part of a specific
So-
operation. No,
So you're not giving. Let
we
me
heard it.
explain where I am then. So, what I understand of this is you're not giving me a first account. You've not been assaulted. You're not a witness to a crime per se. You're not giving me something that might need to be used at court in a later date. You're not using. You're not abusing me. You're not doing something that I might need to use at a later date towards you. You're not committing a crime. You're out in public recording as you're able to do so. I don't need to announce that I've got this running. I don't need to. If you say, am I recording? I'll tell you. I don't need to hide anything. Mine's on buffer. Mine's got no recording on at the moment. I don't need to. You're not doing anything wrong.
No,
you're questioning-
unfortunately, with you being a data handler, I need to know that you're recording so that I can request a copy. If you don't tell me you're recording,
No, I don't have to tell you that.
you
I'm
do.
recording.
Yeah, I just showed you.
The item says there, video and audio. You can read.
No, we don't know if it's on or not.
We can go through the pedantics and the semantics of this. I will
Right.
still maintain that unless I need to tell you an example, you're swearing, I've asked you not to, and I will advise you that everything you're saying and doing is recorded on my camera. I've asked you once to stop. That kind of scenario, ideal. I'm telling someone to stop your behaviour, everything's recorded. It does beep, it tells you that I'm recording. There's no beep at the moment because it's just on buffering. I don't need to tell you. It describes if practicable, if it's necessary.
No, that means if there's a big riot going on, you can't possibly tell the subject.
But there isn't any
while
need,
while
you're
we're
not committing
calm,
a crime, so if
no, it doesn't. Well, then you shouldn't be
I'm not
put turning on.
recording.
Well,
It's
you
on
can't. No, let's talk to him then. The person who was, because are you his superior?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, sir, next time you turn it on, would you please inform the member of the public?
If I see relevant guidance to say that I should, then I will.
You should.
Would
Every
you-
time you switch it on.
So,
So we've not got anywhere. We've not got anywhere with the
Can I
vest,
say,
and
when
we've
you
not got
walk
anywhere
into-
with you.
when you
So
walk into a train
we're wasting our
station,
time.
it's a heavily surveyed environment. You walk into a train station, you're being recorded. A member of staff doesn't come up and say, just to let you know you are being recorded. Because
no,
there
but
are signs
it's
posted.
your job. It's your job.
Signs
reporting
posted
it out,
say-
it's your job.
Okay, but signs are posted to say
Again, you're not
CCTV
doing-
We're having
you're not
it-
gonna
we're
do
having
your
in
job.
operation.
We're having a
You're not
normal
gonna do your job
conversation with you, aren't we?
properly. And I'm
That's
not
it,
going to be doing
video
my
and
job
audio.
properly if I don't tell you your job.
Well, what is your
properly.
job?
That is
We
a-
can't tell you what our
video
job
and
is.
audio.
Well, do you know what? Right,
just
if
telling
you
you.
see something that's wrong, shouldn't we be entitled to put it right?
Yeah,
try
of course,
and make a difference.
I get that, but what are we
But
doing
that was
wrong to
wrong.
you? Why is it
That.
No,
He didn't tell us that you was recording.
we don't have to.
You do, my friend. I just showed you.
No, you haven't. You've said it.
Right, this is.
If reasonable, if practicable.
And what weren't practical about that?
But it said you shouldn't record general patrol. I wouldn't class this as general patrol duty.
This is an interaction. You've
This
stopped
is an
us, guys.
interaction.
Okay.
Our guidance
Would you go?
was we
Would you
should
at least look
record it
into
for
it?
interaction.
Would you at least look into it?
Yeah, I'll have a read of that, and then we'll talk to our inspector and find out what his
So,
guidance is.
7
Not
four-
what your guidance is, but
No,
what our-
okay,
our
that's
own
reasonable.
force guidance is.
7423. Okay, I'll follow 48 hours. I'll follow up with it. Yeah.
No worries.
Okay.
So our guidance was any interaction with the public for protection of ourselves and for you, to make sure that we don't do anything untoward, and you likewise.
Works both
So
ways,
again,
isn't it?
I'm
Record every
stating the
interaction.
fact that it might not be you as a person, it might be your training that's wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, nothing
I'm
personal.
I'm pointing out to
We're
you as a
encouraged to
member of
use the
public.
cameras, but we're not encouraged at this stage to
I'm a
notify
member
every
of the
time we're
public,
using
so I'm
the
going to point
cameras.
it out.
You can use that.
Would you?
Search for our face.
Would you agree?
There'd have to be a legitimate policing purpose
Yeah,
for
but
that.
come on, please.
Would you?
I had it in Scunthorpe and all I was doing was filming.
Would you agree that the Home Office document, as shown there, would be applicable to yourself?
Well, this is from July 2007, and that's ACPO. It's the
Yeah, okay, an
FPCC.
updated version. Would you say that's applicable?
Well, this isn't an updated.
We'll have a look
So
at the
I
updated
can't
version.
possibly
And
comment.
You're being funny now, aren't
if you
you?
want
It's
to follow up,
semantics,
if
it's
you want to follow up
Yeah.
with this, come to the office
We'll
tomorrow.
do. Yeah, no, 48 hours. I'll contact 7423.
All right, we'll follow up and we'll check our policy. But as far
Thank
as
you.
I'm aware, there's no
Yeah.
necessity for me to tell you I'm recording.
Because this is something that does annoy public. You guys think you can record us without telling us, and this is a topic that we
These
like.
are very overt. You know, it's flashing red, it's recording, it's beeping at you.
Yeah, I know.
It's recording.
In addition
So
to
it's-
the-
it's got auditory and visual.
Yeah, and the policy
acknowledge.
says, in addition to the flashing light, you verbally need to tell us, if practically possible, and it was. So
I'll leave that with you.
And
I
also,
understand what you're saying. I'll research it.
if somebody in there has gone out of their way to, they've got their uniform, right, but it's gone out of his way to buy extra workwear to portray a certain power.
Obviously, we can hear the bleep.
Yeah, he's gone out of his way to look a certain way. Yeah,
I concur with you.
that's a decision
And
that he's made.
Something that I think you.
So these guys,
better place.
yeah, I know, but
put some emphasis
they've
on.
called you, so they've called you. We've highlighted it to you. Would you at least go back and say they might have a point? They might have a
I've
point.
already told him that.
Thank you, thank you. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
I've already told him that. You know, look at his dress, and that's throughout the railway industry.
Yeah.
That's through the security
So
industry.
people will appreciate that.
But it doesn't mean that he's trying to portray as a police officer. It's your perception, my perception are different things.
It's the
and I
power that the
agree with
uniform gives.
that's if you're
It also-
allowing
it
that
also-
to creep into your perception of him.
Everyone's- we're public.
Has he come to you and tried to cast himself off?
Impersonating a police officer isn't just about that. If he's walking around town centre and an incident happens and somebody
And
tries to
that's-
contact a
and then,
police officer,
in which case, then
and
if you're
sees him,
feeling that way, then you're duty bound as a member of the public to notify his employee. If you feel that
and
way
I will
that you
do it,
have
I will
seen,
do it. It's all
Yeah.
captured as evidence. and
We
that's-
go further. This is step one. We do make complaints. We do trying to make change because our colleagues have wore similar uniform, and it's been we've had the full force.
all
We've
about
not got away with it.
It's all about
Yeah, they
perception,
thought
isn't
we
it?
was portraying.
And it depends on how. If you're coming across to me and saying, "Well, I am a police officer, member of the public," and I'm looking at you and thinking, "Well, hang on a minute, there's no police signs on." That's a different matter. Someone's trying to portray.
Yeah.
Where's your warrant card? And they produce something on hook it. They're still trying to portray something. If they're trying to give you direction, or they're trying to tell you you've got to leave somewhere, and you're thinking, well, they don't have a power to do so. They're just there's lots of elements of that offence put together that become. Whereas him wandering around in that uniform,
Yes.
I believe it's as far as impossible.
because we know of a
might be
case-
incorrect, but you need to
Because we know of a case where we have actually had action
You
taken
personally.
without saying that with police.
Yeah.
No. Our colleagues. There was no trying to impersonate a police officer. It was simply uniform only, standing there doing illegal activity. Then the accusations came of you are portraying impersonating a police officer. If that's the rule for us, why is it the rule for him? That's all we're trying to say. And if
And you've said that, and I've given you my
yeah.
explanation.
So that we've come to the end
we're
of that.
covering old ground
Yeah.
again.
We are.
Yeah.
Right,
So
we've all got better things to
I'm going to
do.
go and research when I go back in.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'll let you go to the council, make a phone call about what
It's
you
all emails nowadays. Council will not do face to face.
Whichever way you're going to do, and we'll leave that with you.
Yeah. Just quickly. Obviously, they're handcuffs. What's this?
AP supply,
That's capture.
radiology.
Is it? Just explain.
Why do you need to? You know what that is.
No, British Transport Police. I weren't aware that you had that.
Yes.
So does every British Transport Police officer say that?
It's countrywide now.
Right. Okay.
The old Parva sprays have gone, and they're no longer,
What-
as far as I'm concerned, exist.
What would? In 2007, the reformulation of Parva spray marketed as Capta, where a new solvent formulation was proposed. Basically, the concentration of the active ingredient, Parva, remains the same. That document is there, the Home Office standard for police chemical irritant sprays. So yeah, he's right.
Would there be a first aid kit in one of these?
Yes.
Right. Which one would that be?
Why do you need to?
No, because we're interested in what BTP are carrying nowadays.
Always got a first aid kit.
Okay, what's in this one?
Has it not the confidence?
You don't need to know what's inside my uniform,
Just
do you?
bridging
I know you-
the
it's a
gap.
pleasant conversation.
Yeah. We're just interested.
Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff in there. Nothing that would harm you
Anything-
or harm me.
So that would be useful. That would be useful. Your first aid kit would be useful. Anything else that would be useful to the public?
The public, yeah. There's a resuscitator in that one.
Is there?
Small mouthpiece. And
Is that for like
a pair
COVID?
of, there's a blanket, silver blanket in that one.
Really?
Cold, yeah.
Wow.
So nothing that would harm you.
So you wouldn't do mouth-to-mouth contact anymore?
I've done in the past, but that's,
Is that before you had that?
no, that's because that item broke in my pocket when
Oh,
I came
right.
to use it. So I have done mouth to mouth.
Right. That's interesting. Thank you. And this is obviously the baton.
Yeah, we don't try and use those.
Try not to. and is
I like to talk.
Is this linked
Is it not
up?
easier to talk than get all angst about something?
Yeah, but
Is this
I've been in contact with police officers where they like buttoning me.
Aren't they? But everybody's different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everyone has a different.
You've got a good point there. Everyone is different. There's good and bad wherever you go.
Yeah,
And we are highlighting the bad.
But for you to just focus on the bad is, I get what you're doing. I understand where you're coming from, and you know you're championing this cause. But there are amongst us, there are a lot of good, honest, got the right idea. I've got a bit of common sense, and we know what's right, and we know what's wrong, and we know. You know what you come to talk to us about. I concur with you. It's not my jurisdiction. I've given him advice at the door. Whether or not he heeds it and then changes into what he should do is uniform. But there's a lot of us that have got the right idea and want to do the right thing.
I can see that. Yeah.
And to be tarred with the same brush is a little bit dismaying, shall we say? Can't say it's upsetting.
No, but that's
Well,
also what these do. These don't tie everyone with the same brush. If we get a good interaction, the camera don't lie, it shows it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we get a bad interaction,
I
the
think
camera
part
again
of the
shows
reason
it.
we had the call to the office was they were a bit perturbed about how probably confrontational they felt you were. It can be. You standing there with the phone, you with the phone and whatever it is. What is it? Old person. Come on, tell me what it is.
Well, it's a camera that stabilises. Look.
Brilliant. So it's got like a gyroscope.
Yeah, gimbal. Yeah.
Very good. So it can be intimidating to some people. I don't care. You can video me all you like. I'm constantly monitored on the cameras in there. Wherever I walk, people can take photographs.
Yeah. Well, people will see how you behave today, and it's not been bad.
All I'll ask from you is your interactions with any of the railway staff. Just bear in mind you are on. It's classed as private property. Have you got
It's not.
tickets? It is.
When you go past the barrier where you need a ticket, it is.
As long
But
as you've got
we've
tickets-
not been there.
Have you got tickets to go back home and what have you? You're all.
You know, under Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972, right? You know that law, yeah?
Yeah. Go on, tell me what
that-
what part are you going to use of that though?
What do you mean?
Just where it defines as a public place.
Where it defines as a
It is a public place, but listen to me. Listen, let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, go on.
So, if some of your interactions with any of the rail staff become a little bit more than just a sensible conversation and they ask you to leave, unfortunately, under the railway bylaws, they do have a power to remove you. So all I would say to you is keep it sensible.
Yeah, there is Section 219 of the Transport Act 2000. There's many bylaws, queuing, smoking, dangerous items, unacceptable behaviour. So down at page 19, just here, enforcement, removal of persons. So any person who is reasonably believed by an authorised person to be in breach of any of these bylaws shall leave the railway immediately when asked to do so by an authorised person. So they do have the power to remove you. And in fact, this section here, look, any person who is reasonably believed by an authorised person to be in breach of any of these bylaws who fails to desist or leave when asked to do so by an authorised person may be removed from the railway by an authorised person using reasonable force. This right of removal is in addition to the imposition of any penalty for the breach. So they can remove you and they can impose a penalty. So yeah, if asked to leave the railway grounds, it's best just to do so.
Well, like you have now.
So you've seen how we behave.
Yeah.
Why would it not have been the same?
But what we got reported was different, and I wasn't there, and I can't comment
Exactly,
on it. So
yes.
I'm not going to. We're not investigating it. We're not looking into it. But all I would say is keep it sensible, keep it level. If you're asked to move from somewhere by railway staff, just think about it carefully before you decide that you're going to take a stance and you're going to dig your heels in. You know, just bear that in mind for me, please. If you would.
Oh yeah, we're always
Alright.
professional. 100%.
And he laughs as you say that.
Because we are.
Yeah.
We are, but
I'm
we
not
get
laughing.
arrested.
We like to
get
put
arrested.
humour into the content, right, officers? You've got better things to do, so we'll let you carry on.
Yeah.
We'll move on to our next victim.
See, that's the wrong term, isn't it?
I said it on purpose, you know I
It's the
did.
wrong term, isn't it? Yeah.
And again, officers, for me, you are dismissed.
Just plain old rude.
What?
For me,
Do you know your...
plain old rude. I'm going anyway. Goodbye.
Yeah, take care.
Been very professional, except for obviously telling me to switch the body cam broadcast.
I won't
Told
review
us you
for
switched
guidance.
it on,
Thank you.
so thank you for that. And thank you very much.
I will review
Go on, say it. You are...
Dismissed.
Hey.
No doubt you're going to go over there and check.
Do you know your definition of being dismissed? Is that end of shift?
Well,
That's day 11, isn't it?
we just say booking off, to be honest.
Has anyone ever said to you are dismissed?
Have you seen any videos of it?
Well, mostly jokingly when we go for a training course.
So it's on the training courses, then when you're finished, the instructor's finished with you, you're all dismissed. Does that mean you go away?
I think sometimes it's just jovial, in a way to
Oh,
say,
dear.
carry on. And
It's just a professional way for a member of the public to talk to any member of the police. As in putting in a whole sentence in one word, you are dismissed, or 3 words, you are dismissed. It basically means I no longer need your assistance, I'm not willing to talk to you any further, please carry on your merrily way. And that's basically it.
that's the meaning behind it, then.
It literally sums it up.
It's personal perception.
Can I put my hand up here, guys?
You may
Go
get.
on.
Do you remember when I said, does any of you have the gang side?
Uh-oh.
You asked me if I was wearing a gang sign. I said no, because I don't perceive that.
This
to
is
be
the
a gang
Face Union
sign.
Jack, and we see
did
that as
say
a gang
the
sign. We see that
thing we
offensive.
Is that-
This is a charity item. For
How much?
We know exactly
all
what
the
it
police
is.
officers.
How much did it cost?
Sorry,
How much did it cost?
I can't remember that.
Oh, was that long ago?
It was a while ago. Yes,
Is it a part of the uniform?
it's not part of the uniform, but it's for a police charity.
Oh, it's not part of the
proceeds
uniform.
do go to charity for fallen police officers.
Did you know any police officers that are working
Have a
in
good day,
London?
lads.
Oh!
Oh, walk of shame! See you later, young'un.
Have a good day. And it's off. He knew he could not get out of that one.
Go as soon as we mention
There's no way he could have got out of that one.
on the roof next time.